Russia's ambassador to Britain has said that Moscow would exert maximum pressure on London in the ongoing standoff. Yakovenko also accused Britain of cranking up its aggression against Moscow in order to distract the British public from the difficulties it was having managing the country's 2019 exit from the European Union. British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson says that it is overwhelmingly likely that Russian President Vladimir Putin himself made the decision to use a military-grade nerve toxin to strike down a former Russian agent on English soil. The Foreign Secretary said Britain was taking retaliatory action against Putin's Kremlin and not the Russian people as he visited the Battle of Britain Bunker Museum in Uxbridge with his Polish counterpart. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Russia could announce retaliatory measures against Britain in a diplomatic row over the poisoning of former double agent at any minute. The statement comes after Russia indicated that it would expel British diplomats in response to British Prime Minister Theresa May's decision to kick out 23 Russians. The Russian spy poisoning matter may be up for discussion at the EU summit at Brussels next week. The EU's 28 national leaders are likely to discuss the nerve agent attack on a Russian ex-spy in Britain at a Brussels summit next week and are expected to issue a formal statement. Now, this comes as another show of solidarity by EU bloc for UK despite the Brexit straining the EU-UK relations. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said that the immediate priority of European Union leaders discussing the nerve agent attack on a Russian ex-spy in Britain would not be to discuss a potential boycott of the Soccer World Cup in Russia ahead of an EU leaders summit at which the poison attack will be discussed. And Merkel said the focus of discussions would be the need to obtain clarity on what had happened in the attack. French President Emmanuel Macron called for a clear, ambitious roadmap for EU reforms by June as he sought crucial support for his shake-up of the bloc from German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Speaking after talks between the two leaders in Paris, Merkel backed the deadline, saying that the results have to be achieved by June. A Turkish bombing raid struck the main hospital in the Kurdish-controlled Syrian town of Afrin, killing 9 people as Ankara pressed its nearly 2-month assault. The Turkey's Afrin offensive has forced thousands to flee Afrin. At least 76 civilians have been killed as the toll for the month-old assault near Damascus continues to mount. The latest report suggests that Britain, France and Germany have proposed fresh EU sanctions on Iran over its ballistic missiles and its role in the Syria's war. The proposal is part of an EU strategy to save the accord signed by world powers that curbs Tehran's ability to develop nuclear weapons, namely by showing US President Donald Trump that there are other ways to counter Iranian power abroad. The president of the Academy of Motion Pictures has been accused of sexual misconduct. Hollywood trade publication reported on Friday the Academy of Motion Pictures is the organization that hands out the Oscars. Reports say that the Academy has received 3 claims of sexual harassment against John Bailey on Wednesday and have begun an investigation. US President Donald Trump has reaffirmed his plan to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un by the end of May during a call with South Korea's president, voicing cautious optimism over recent developments. White House said that Trump and President Moon Jae-in discussed preparations for their upcoming engagements with North Korea and agreed that concrete actions were the key to achieving denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders says that US President Donald Trump has told her he has no intention of changing his national security advisor General HR McMaster, despite a media report indicating he planned to do so. Meanwhile, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly has spoken to a number of White House staffers to assure them that there were no immediate personnel changes coming despite rumors of a possible shake-up. Tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets across Slovakia on Friday to call for snap elections, saying the premier's resignation was not enough to fix what they see as a corrupt government. The organizers of the protest had announced there would be rallies in 34 cities at home and 25 cities abroad. The smallest member of Boeing's upgraded narrow-body jetliner range, the 737 MAX 7, began its maiden flight on Friday, heralding months of trials before it enters service next year. The aircraft is the third and smallest member of Boeing's 737 MAX lineup. Hundreds of people held a peaceful protest in central Madrid to demand better police treatment of street vendors a day after the death of a Senegalese man sparked clashes with riot police. A 35-year-old Senegal street vendor suffered a heart attack in the street while walking away from police. That evening, protesters threw stones and set dustbins alight in Madrid's Lavapiés neighborhood, home to many migrant communities and near to where the person died. The police have launched a murder investigation into the death of the Russian businessman Nikolai GLUSHKOV after a pathologist concluded he died from compression to the neck, suggesting he may have been strangled by hand or ligature. The police said in a statement that at his stage, there was nothing to suggest a link to the attempted murders of former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter, or that poison was involved. The most likely leftist contender in Brazil's presidential race, Ciro Gomes, has warned investors to hold off buying state assets in the energy sector because he would expropriate them if he wins in October. Now, Gomes maintains that President Michel Temer is illegitimate because he took office in the controversial impeachment of leftist Dilma Rousseff, arguing that his policies should be revised for the next government elected by the Brazilian people. Coca-Cola and Company and the U.S. State Department, along with 3 other companies, are launching a project using blockchain-changing digital ledger technology to create a secure registry for workers that will help fight the use of forced labor worldwide. The U.S. State Department said this is the government's agency's first major project on this issue using blockchain, reinforcing the technology's growing application for social causes. Now, thousands in northern Iraq observed a movement of silence on Friday to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the 1988 chemical attack on the Kurdish town of Halabja. A number of Kurdish officials and representatives of the foreign missions in the city of Suleimania attended a ceremony to attend the anniversary along with family members of the 5,000 people who were killed in the attack. "50 new Nepali legislators took oath to federal office as Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli expanded his cabinet. Nepali President Vidya Devi Bhandari administered the oath to the new ministers before a packed hall at her residence. Sheetal Nivas, with the latest expansion, the Oli-led cabinet now has 22 members in total. Gold bars fell out of the plane after it took off from a Russian airport. Video shot by local journalists shows a number of gold bars and yellow bags scattered across the runway at Yakutsk Airport. The airport said in a written statement that the Nimbus cargo plane and 12 took off from the airport and that the left flap of the cargo hatch was torn off by an airflow. A senior U.S. administration official has said that Pakistan is doing the bare minimum to squeeze the Taliban and terror groups despite Washington's threat to freeze $2 billion worth of aid. The official's comments come as Pakistan is trying to avoid being put on a global watch list over terrorism financing that could hamper its ability to receive foreign investment. The United Nations has launched an appeal for nearly $1 billion to care for Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh, while underscoring that efforts must remain focused on securing the safe return to Myanmar of those displaced. UN agencies asked for $951 million through the rest of the year to provide basic needs for the nearly 1 million Rohingya Muslims in Bangladesh. Britain's Prince Harry returned to the Army Aviation Centre to receive his advanced helicopter training. Harry attended a ceremony in the Museum of Army Flying in Middle Wallop, during which he presented 12 new pilots with their wings. Harry was seen chatting with the recent graduates during this ceremony and sharing a few words of advice. The United Nations chief Antonio Guterres has urged all Lebanese parties to stop meddling in the Syrian conflict in a report naming the Lebanon-based and Iran-backed Shiite movement Hezbollah. Washington, which is involved in a major diplomatic offensive to counter Iranian influence in the Middle East, is expected to reprise the accusation against Hezbollah. A sizable crowd gathered in Malta's capital city, Valletta, at a vigil to mark 5 months since the murder of journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia. During the event, the Godfather theme song from the classic movie, synonymous with the mafia, blared out of a sound system designed to reach Prime Minister Joseph Muscat's office in Valletta's Castile Square. The world's most expensive chocolate went on display at a chocolate fair in Óbidos in Portugal. Priced at $9,489 and covered in edible gold, the chocolate is a part of a limited edition 1,000 bonbons. It has a filling of saffron threads, white truffle, vanilla from Madagascar and gold flakes. Its crown-shaped box is decorated with 5,500 Swarovski crystals and also carries personalized pincers. Hong Kong's richest man, Lee Ka-shing, has announced his retirement as chairman of CK Hutchinson Holdings, bringing to a close a rags-to-riches story that made him a hero in the freewheeling capitalist hub. 89-year-old Lee will retire after the annual general meeting on May 10th, passing the mantle to his eldest son, Victor Lee, who was named successor several years ago. An Iraqi teenager who had come to Britain as an asylum seeker has been found guilty of attempted murder after detonating a homemade bomb on a packed Russia-London commuter train last year, injuring 30 people. Ahmed Hassan has been found guilty of trying to murder the passengers on board an underground train heading to central London on September 15th last year. Former South African President Jacob Zuma will be prosecuted for corruption relating to $2.5 billion state arms deal in the late 1990, ZUMA was charged with corruption on Friday over the arms deal in a stunning judicial ruling on a continent where political wingmen rarely faced their day in court. President Donald Trump has signed a legislation that would allow U.S. officials to travel to Taiwan to meet their Taiwanese counterparts, a move certain to anger China, which views Taiwan as a wayward province. The bill, which is non-binding, would have gone into effect on Saturday morning, even if Trump had not signed it. Botswana's president has accused the U.S. of encouraging elephant poaching following its recent decision to reverse a ban on imports of sport-hunted trophies. The decision by the U.S. Department of the Interior would allow the import of tusks and skins of elephants killed in Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia and Zimbabwe on a case-by-case basis. Sweden has said it is happy to help with problems on the Korean peninsula, but it is up to the parties involved to try to find a way forward. The statement by Swedish Foreign Minister comes a day after North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho landed in Sweden for the talks, prompting speculations that the visit would lay the groundwork for a possible meeting between the U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Mexico's military destroyed hundreds of weapons as part of a program to combat violence in the sprawling metropolis. Some 1,800 weapons of different calibers were destroyed. Most were seized during various operations against organized crime around the country. Some were voluntarily handed over by citizens for the army to destroy them. Brazilian President Michel Temer and his top security officials vowed to investigate and punish those responsible for the execution-style murder of a popular Rio de Janeiro city council man and rising star in the Socialism and Liberty Party. An outspoken critic of police killings of poor residents, 38-year-old Marielle Franco was killed along with her driver on Rio's dangerous north side. U.S. Senator Bill Nelson has demanded documents related to the construction of a new footbridge in Miami that collapsed a day earlier and killed at least 6 people. In a letter, Senator Bill Nelson of Florida asked the U.S. Department of Transportation to turn over all records related to the engineering, design, construction, safety and inspection of the project. RuPaul received the 2,631st star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Emmy-winning drag queen and host of RuPaul's Drag Race fought back tears as he accepted the honor. RuPaul has been hosting RuPaul's Drag Race since 2009, the show that pits drag queens against each other based on their looks and talents. India's ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party's second biggest ally, TDP, or the Telugu Desam Party, has quit the Narendra Modi-led government. The TDP had withdrawn its 2 ministers from the government earlier this month to protest the centre's refusal or inability to grant special category status to Andhra Pradesh. British judge hearing the extradition case of liquor baron Vijay Mallya said it was blindingly obvious that rules were being broken by Indian banks, which sanctioned some of the loans to the erstwhile Kingfisher Airlines. The judge described the case as a jigsaw puzzle with different pieces of massive evidence to be put together to paint a picture, which she said she was now able to see more clearly than a few months ago. A special CBI court will today pronounce the judgment in the fourth forest scam case relating to alleged withdrawal of 3.13 crore rupees from the Dumka treasury over 2 decades ago against former Bihar Chief Ministers Lalu Prasad and Jagannath Mishra. The court had postponed the judgment yesterday in view of the Lalu Prasad's counsel filing a petition asking that 3 officials of the Accountant General be made a party to the case. BJP President Amit Shah is likely to hold a meeting with the core group of the party's Andhra Pradesh unit today after the Telugu Desam party walked out of the NDA. The meeting comes as the BJP finds itself in a tight corner in Andhra Pradesh after the TDP and YSR Congress moved notices for a no-confidence motion in the Lok Sabha against the Modi government. Senior Congress leader Veerappa Moily has landed in a controversy after a tweet suggesting money plays a role in the Congress party deciding who gets the ticket for upcoming elections in Karnataka, as the tweet went viral on social media and created a buzz. In the political circles, Moily said it was a mistake by somebody else and that he did not post any such tweet. Thane Crime Branch has arrested Rizwan Siddiqui, lawyer of actor Nawazuddin Siddiqui, in the call data record case. Rizwan is said to have obtained CDR of the actor's wife to spy on her. He will be produced in Thane court on Saturday. Now, actor Nawazuddin, however, did not present himself in spite of being summoned by the cops. A special court in Chandigarh has found Jagtar Singh Thara guilty for assassination of former Punjab Chief Minister BEANT Singh. The court will announce the quantum of sentence today. BEANT Singh was killed in a bomb blast outside Punjab and Haryana Secretariat on August 1995. The blast had killed 17 others, including Punjab Police Constable Dilawar Singh, who acted as a human bomb.